Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about Raksha Bandhan, the brilliant brother-sister relationship, the divine design of nature, to talk about genuine brother and sister, whether it's by birth or by adoption. Raksha Bandhan, Raksha means shelter, Bandhan means bondage. Brilliant brother-sister relationship, which is an integrated divine design that they should grow together as a perfect sisterly relationship, a brotherly relationship to do protection for each other to the best of their ability. Sister prays and for the brother, and brother shields her left, right, and front throughout her life. That is the whole objective of Raksha Bandhan. And this is again the greatest learning and mastering program of universal consciousness, because unless until a man knows how to respect mother, sister, daughter, and healthy relationships, he cannot really evolve in spiritual science. Each relationship has its own objectives. Mother is mother, sister is sister, and daughter is daughter. These three healthy relationships, I do consider, they make a person, human being, the greatest, provided they understand the divine nature of these relationships. And I do believe that is education, that is enlightenment, that is empowerment. And living healthy relationship with mothers, sisters, and daughters is absolutely essential for spiritual growth. We got to remember these relationships and understand that we have certain limits within which we should work, and that could take us to that. And I do believe this is the eternal way of divine nature for spiritual science and otherwise. From that angle, I do believe Raksha Bandhan is the greatest opportunity for every man and a woman or brother and sister as such to understand that this relationship can develop and use it as a person to grow together. At this juncture, let me tell you one thing. I am going to talk only for medical students. I am not going to talk of anybody other than that. I have my three elder sisters, I have a lot of my cousins, and a lot of my friends otherwise. I respect all of them. There is no need for me to talk of them. But three of my classmates and one of my juniors from Madras Medical College are the four people who are doctors, whom I call my dearest sisters. And why I call them sisters, and what happened during my course in Madras Medical College, I restrict that to the point how a youngster also grows healthy in a beautiful way to reach a very high level of education, enlightenment, development, and that way Raksha Bandhan is very, very important to me. At least I do not know about others. And now I'll make a genuine statement. There are many girls and women. Everyone sees them in various forms. Let me not go into detail how the world looks at it. Most are like mothers and daughters, is very clearly seen, recorded, and other thing. And I do understand, I respect every woman as my mother or daughter. There is no doubt about it. But when come to the relationship of sisters, is also something which I put in the same thing. Fortunately, I found many like my sisters, and I respect them because they belong to my age group. When I say sisters, they are very close to a little over me, a little below me, and that is age group only I am going to talk about it. I am not going to talk about others as such. And I do believe my relationship with these girls who were adopted was so spontaneous and wonderful, so enlivening and interesting, that I can say I have become a better human being only because of them. And we hold our relation with genuine respect, regard, love. You use any terms. It could be applied to us because we stood by the kind of bondage you normally do not see otherwise. Now, from that point of view, let me talk of the few divine sisters, but let me make one thing very, very clear. When I was in Madras Medical College, all my class girls, and I am talking only my class girls, I am not talking about my junior and senior girls at that particular stage, they had so much a trust in me. Whenever they had to go anywhere outside, only person they look forward to was me. I was their guardian, And that was a healthy relationship to understand how to be a guardian, how to be a protector, and how to be a person who can shield the sister left, right, and front. And I think that's the duty of every human being, to make sure other mothers, daughters, sisters are fully protected, shielded, and nobody can do anything. That's also a test for humanity as such. Okay, these are the relationships, because they need it, you need it, and you should do it, and that's it. Now come to the question of Madras Medical College. It's a general hospital where I spent time from 1969 to 74. And these are the 6 years. It's very, very important for me. From 1968 to Loyola College to Madras Medical College, this is a stage where a genuine boy is passing through the phase of transition of hormones and otherwise. And that is where I see most of my juniors and seniors and others in my classmates have gone astray, because instead of focusing on the education for which they had come to Madras Medical College to become a perfect human being, they are wasting their time in many activities at the expense of their education, and no wonder they are not as perfect doctors as I would call myself to be a preventive medicine. And I think I was focused on learning from first subject to the last subject, and have the respect and make sure that I have absolutely nothing to fall in love with anybody. I am there for education, and I am to become a perfect. I have to serve the humanity as a preventive medicine doctor for the sake of world as such. And that concept stands out very clearly in my life, and keeping that in mind, let me talk of the girls with whom I worked in close proximity in my class first, and then later. The first sister and brother relationship is a second year Madras Medical College. As I told you, first year Loyola College, we were only boys. That is a boys college, not a co-ed college. Madras Medical is a co-ed college. That's the first time I came to sit together with girls to work together. And the first place where I got to settle down, sit with girls and work on dead bodies at cadavers to find out different muscles, nerves, and other things, to study the perfect anatomy as such, so that we could understand physiology, biochemistry, and other subjects at a later date. That is the foundation knowledge required to understand how anatomy works. Any doctor who is perfectly good in anatomy would be better in physiology, better in chemistry. Otherwise, without the foundation knowledge of anatomy, you cannot be a good doctor. And I'm glad I was definitely one of the doctors in anatomy who excelled, and that was my foundation. No wonder after graduation I opted to go for surgery because of anatomy. First general surgery, then ENT surgery, then plastic surgery. No wonder I came to general medicine, because I found those medical subjects and surgery more limited in approach. There was nothing to learn. Whereas medicine had given me a chance, every patient was giving me a job to prove worthy of a research scholar. Each patient I had to see and make sure they do not have any problem thereafter. So medicine became a big advantage for me to grow to spiritual science, what I am today. For the first time I had to work with female students, as I told you. For the first time I found that girl students are also great. Now I am making one thing very clear. After 57 years in medical college, when I see the difference in boys and girls, I find that girl students have taught me much more than boys. Questions asked by the girls were 1,000 times better. There is much more clarity in them. They are more creative. They are more innovative, very intelligent, other thing. And that is statement which I am making. Maybe that is the reason my respect for girls came, because they asked me good question. We worked together as a good team. And today I am a spiritual scientist primarily because of my classmates from Madras Medical College, and then the females by and large, right up to Chennai Hospital University, where my PhD scholars and MBBS, BDS and other students, and that relationship really brought me to this level of consciousness. I can reveal the world, the divine design of nature, Divya, for the first time in 2015, A to Z. And all this goes to my students who are primarily girls in nature. and I go on record to say, not even single boy student has taught me something which I can remember has made a change. But girls have asked me a question for which I had no answer, and I found the answer in a much better way. Now comes to the question. First person which comes to my mind is Dr. Shobha Vardhan. And why I take her as my first adopted sister? Because Shobha and Shiv are identical. We both were together next to each other. She was before me, I was after. This is the number which goes, and then process. Since we spent almost 5 years together, I think we remain batchmates, perfect, understanding anatomy, physiology, biochemistry and medical subject one by one, sitting next to each other. And I hold her great respect because she was very intelligent, very intuitive, and today I find her doing wonderful job for the entire world. And she is an anesthetist, married to aircraft, and overall no words can make me say how wonderful she has been to me, how wonderful she is. We continue to have a healthy relationship, and I am very happy to say that I made sure when her daughter got married in Bangalore in 2009, I saw to it that I went and attended the marriage, met her son, daughter, brother-in-law, and those French people by and large, and including my own classmate who came there, was a phenomenal. That way I would say thank you very much that you have given me the way to think, work together, how to respect and regard, and how to grow as a perfect human being. That way 100% marks I give it to her, because we work together as the stage which is normally seen to be vulnerable. She was not vulnerable, I was not vulnerable, we were genuine like brother and sister, and the respect and regard was phenomenal. So that way, thank you very much. Second thing comes to is a Madhu Sachdev. Incidentally, Sachdev is also very close to that. She happened to be with me along with Shobha as a member. You can see her sitting next to Dr. Kamakshi and me on one side, and Dr. Swarnalata the other case. And of course another classmate, Sri Devi, she was another wonderful classmate of mine. You can see her picture on the back side, and she was a brilliant, core and large, and she was again something with my batch, brilliant to see. And she in my both Sri Kumari as such a particularly had a lovely discussions and how to organize parties, how to organize things, how to understand subject, and no wonder Sri Devi even became the Dean of Medical College and did a wonderful job. She is a leading gastroenterologist and of course a wonderful person to work with. Very precise, concise, to the point, no words to even say that she had any deficiency. It's a brilliant. And as far as Madhu was concerned, she was a Punjabi. So me and Madhu were much closer in language wise and food wise and other things. So we found ourselves to be much better as a brotherly sisterly relationship, because we had many things in common from our genetic structure. Me from Jammu, she from Punjab. Food, language, other thing was phenomenal, and I think we found, and I continue to respect her even today, and I made her everybody to realize she was one of my fondest sisters, and she continues to be that, and she is in America and doing very well as such, and I think I respect both of them. And although I have to only such thing, I have good Sri Kumari. Besides that, there were many other girls in my class, my batch. Everyone was like my sister. I was literally their guardian. Now come to the question, third medical person which I would respect tremendously is Geeta Arjun. She did not belong to my batch in second batch, she was in first batch, and she got married to another friend of mine called Arjun, brilliant person. And incidentally I would say both Geeta and Arjun, both of them were my peer groups, and I found Arjun was a brilliant and I looked up to him for education otherwise, and Geeta was someone I was more associated at a later stage, not during the first stage or MBBS period that much. Let me also begin. But she became more close to me at a later date when she came back from America after her graduation in gynecology nursing and took over E.V. Kalyani nursing home, and ever since she took over, my children were born there, my patients were born. She was a consultant A and Z for everything, and I thought it was a wonderful thing. And the quality which I have, not to charge even one patient a consultation fees or medicines free. And I'm very happy to say both my children's case and many of the things, Geeta would not charge, do wonderful work, so will be Arjun. They were available to help in each and every person. That was the brilliance in how to help the poor, needy patients or help friends and otherwise, and perfect doctor not to charge your colleagues and be a thing. And that oneness which I had, I found in Geeta much more than I found in anybody else, because I had a chance to work with her. No consultation, nothing at all. She would just enjoy. It is ours, let us do it. Let's be like a brother and sister. Let's do a wonderful job. And she treated me as a, and fortunately, she and me share the same birthday. And I'm the first person to call her birthday every year for years now. I have never missed it, and she's always been looking that I would be calling in the morning to wish her, and I wake her up from sleep. I think that was good. But on the other side, she was so spontaneous, good as a thing, that she was literally teaching the world what I was doing in preventive medicine. She was doing preventive pregnancy, how to be healthy, how to not fall sick, and she is the writer of the book, and you can see her picture. I think world would fail me to appreciate a genuine person who is loving, caring, otherwise doing wonderful things with a smile and other thing. I think I have no words to say. I am privileged to be her brother, her friend, her close associate, and I would even say she was literally like a shield to me, make sure that if I need anything, another thing, she was always there. That spontaneity I have not seen with anybody else other than Geeta. So that's it. Now comes the question of the fourth sister. She is Sunita Kesar. She was born and brought up in Katra, my hometown. She is not related to me. She got into seat into medical college in Tamil Nadu from Jammu and Kashmir government, and she came with her father to Chennai with my address, and tell you, I had never met her before she came to Chennai in 1978. I think it was somewhere in October 1978. And immediately the person came to my house, both of them, and I was surprised because I had no information about them. And he said, I have come, I am so and so. I said, I know you very well, you are a teacher, otherwise you have not taught me as such. But I know your family very completely, and now we have come. She has got admission. Now I want her to be in your shield as your sister, to make sure that she has a wonderful education, and treat her like that. Is a golden opportunity for you to serve the purpose as such. I think with that concept, father left her and he went back, and then whole responsibility was given to me. Now to come to the questioner, by choice, she would not have got into Madras Medical College at all. I went to Director of Medical Education and told him very clearly, she is my sister and I want her to be in Madras Medical College so that she can spend time with me and things will be wonderful. And I am glad Director of Medical Education agreed to give her seat into Madras Medical College and put it there. I think that was phenomenal on the part of Director of Medical Education and my thing, and I am glad that she got into medical college. Then got her admission into medical college hostel, and literally. But let me tell you, she spent most of her free time in my residence with us. And I am glad that she studied from my books and discussed with me. And I can tell you, I was one of the first person to pass from Jammu and Kashmir in Madras Medical College with first attempt. And she was the second one, I would say, who did extremely well. She was junior. No doubt I joined in 1968. She joined in 10 years later. But she maintained that, and so excelled so very well that I would say word would fail ki how she was learning concepts and doing wonderfully well. And let me now tell you one concept very clearly there. In 1984, I had to take the few days holidays to go back to hometown, and during some marriage and functions, and I felt she was doing house surgency at that given moment of time, and I said, okay, for the sake of my patients, can you take care of my clinic as such and treat them like with as if they are part of the family. And I'm glad every patient was as happy as they were with me. She could treat everybody as a house surgeon. I think that was a privilege for me to see. If you are a person who is a medical college who can treat house surgeon stage, every patient independently, give the medicines and do everything without any assistance from senior at all, then only you are fit enough to be a doctor. And that was one of the reasons why I got into Madras Medical College, and I wanted her also to get into Madras. That is the place where we were all trained very well during that period. But as on today, let me admit with all the thing, I do not see even one MBBS student after passing can treat even one patient, and even MD people independently they cannot even do it. It is a pathetic state of affairs in medical. Prevention is definitely not there. Even treatment is defective, defective, defective. I see that even all the doctors today, and very sorry to say, not even single medical college doctors today are passed even know the perfect female menstrual cycle itself. They don't even know preventive medicine. They don't even know how to give injections. Is a, but we had done. But anyway, I'm glad she did very well. And after then she got into pediatrics and doing very well in Jammu as a pediatrician. She is married to another doctor who is a head of department, even dean of the Jammu Medical College, Dr. Anil Sharma. I think brilliant. But what is more important for me to say here, she spent 6 years with me and then she went. We were not much in touch after that. Then came stage. Then she got in touch with me after I came back to Chennai again. And from that moment, we have a healthy relationship once again. And she has been telling everybody that most beautiful period of her life was only with me in Chennai, my family in Chennai. She remembers that was the turning point, very successful. She never felt out of home. She felt that was the house where she belonged. That was the brother, that is the sister-in-law, that is the place. And I think I admire her for acknowledging that although the person is not by your brother by birth, but he is adopted, you have adopted, you are like a one family. That speaks volumes. And I am going to say now once here, other three sisters do not send me Raksha Bandhan at all. We are not in that space. I treat, respect and done with it. But only person, quote in quote, sends me Raksha Bandhan on Raksha Day and also Tilak on Bhaiya Dooj. And she makes it very clear that it reaches in time, she makes it clear. And over a period I feel that oneness speaks volumes when you say, I have sister, I am brother, and we have to work together as a unit, acknowledge that this is a healthy relationship and this is where we grow. So that way Sunita stands out in thing better than my own brother, my own sisters, my own cousins and other things. So that way on a genuine healthy Raksha Bandhan day, the person who I admire the most is Dr. Sunita, Sunita, Sunita only. And that is where I would say she has taught me that by birth alone you do not become brother and sister. You can be brother and sister even if you are born together. You can have it much more healthier provided you are a good human being. If your intentions are good, you are a truthful, honest otherwise, and you literally say. So that way many of the qualities which I admired in her and I follow and admit, she is the one person who has even gone on record to say that I had literally tried to do please others with maybe even occasional non-vegetarian. She said, you have done it, whereas she said you should not do it. And she is very proud. From that angle I would say she has literally helped me to become perfect by and large. Now comes to the question, impeccable wisdom. We have wonderful relations with everybody. I cannot say that even one person I do not admit or admire or talk very high about, because I do know almost every human being I know is a fundamentally very good in one subject or other thing. And when I see them the subject where they are very good, I try to train them in that subject and excel them to give 100%. So that way I do not see any single human being as a deficient in any form. Only thing we should recognize their quality in one subject, and I am good in 64, so I can see the qualities, so I train them accordingly. So that way the wisdom I found, if you respect girls as your sisters, daughters and mothers and etc., and then you develop very healthy relationship, that is where the quality of life improves. Such healthy mutual convey is very, very easy. I fail to understand why men or women by and large cannot have a very healthy relationship with anybody and everybody. I have no problem, very thing. And the foundation of science, the Akhand Yoga, also is learnt only when you respect, because Akhand Yoga teaches you how to be truthful, how to be non-violent, how to be disciplined, how to do that, and that you have to be tested. And for the testing, working with the opposite gender is much better, because that is where you are tested fully. Working with your gender is not an issue, because there is no person where you could fall in love and then you have to rise. Whereas with your sisters, you literally become perfect because you are totally at a very high level of education otherwise. I think that was brilliant. And signifies the rising consciousness comes only with the opposite gender. I make it very clear. Instead of falling in love, how can you fall in love? You can only rise with love, provided you respect them as a good human being. And girls, by and large, as I said, they are very intelligent in brain. They are not left-sided brain, they are right-sided brain, multi-dimensional. And they have the quality to take care of the home, everything. Once you respect them and see them, give them support, they do extremely well. And I've seen my female students doing 1,000 times better than the male students I have taught, guided or supervised otherwise. Girls invariably raise challenging questions. That's again a question. As a student, as a teacher, as a professor, as a guide, I find the question raised by girls is 1,000 times better than the boys raising any single question which will be challenging to me. Maybe I am a mathematician, logical, maybe boys are like me. Girls are multidimensional, which we are not used to it, so we find it interesting. That is something. And they make me think more as a super consciously, because I have to give them the answers which are beyond any ambiguity. And once you reach that level, you have to think of the perfection. Maybe the reason why I have given the word Divyank, because these girls ask me a question and how to give them the perfect answer without even single difficulty. I think that training from the school, college, university till today has made me there where I say my sisters have asked me more questions to make them understand. I think that was a privilege. And girls have taught me more than the boys is also something. I think that is enough for the time being. I think once it's understood, this Raksha Bandhan, brother-sister relationship is very educating, enlightening, empowering. And once we understand to respect them as a perfect being, you rise with respect, love, other things to the level you can't even dream of. And having done that, I think I've put my thoughts very clearly. Respect opposite gender for what they are great. And this is my literally very comprehensive statement. We should respect females 1,000 times better than it's normally done. So thank you very